When I examined her small hands and drew her attention to her grubby fingernails, she said with a naive frown, "Oui, ce n'est pas bien," and went to the wash-basin. But I said it didn't matter at all. With her brown bobbed hair, luminous grey eyes and pale skin, she looked perfectly charming. Her hips were no bigger than those of a squatting lad. In fact, I do not hesitate to say, and indeed this is the reason why I linger gratefully on that gauze-grey room of memory with little Monique, that among the 80 or so grue I had had operate upon me, she was the only one that gave me a pang of genuine pleasure. "Il était malin, celui qui a inventé ce truc-là," she commented amiably, and got back into her clothes with the same high-style speed. I asked for another, more elaborate assignment later the same evening, and she said she would meet me at the corner cafe at 9, and swore she'd never posé un lapin in all her young life. We returned to the same room, and I couldn't help saying how very pretty she was, to which she answered demurely, "Tu es bien gentil de dire ça." And then, noticing what I noticed too in the mirror reflecting our small Eden, the dreadful grimace of clenched teeth tenderness that distorted my mouth, dutiful little Monique, oh, she had been a nymphette all right, wanted to know if she should remove the layer of red from her lips, avant qu'on se couche, in case I planned to kiss her. Of course I planned it. I let myself go with her more completely than I had with any young lady before, and my last vision that night of long-lashed Monique is touched up with a gaiety that I find seldom associated with any event in my humiliating, sordid, taciturn love life. She looked tremendously pleased with the bonus of 50 I gave her as she trotted out into the April night drizzle with Humbert lumbering in her narrow wake. Stopping before a window display, she said with great gusto, "Je vais m'acheter des bas." And never may I forget the way her Parisian childish lips exploded on bas, pronouncing it with an appetite that all but changed the A into a brief buoyant bursting O, as in bas. I had a date with her the next day at 2:15 p.m. in my own rooms, but it was less successful. She seemed to have grown less juvenile, more of a woman overnight. A cold I caught from her led me to cancel a fourth assignment, nor was I sorry to break an emotional series that threatened to burden me with heart-rending fantasies and peter out in dull disappointment. So let her remain, sleek, slender Monique, as she was for a minute or two, a delinquent nymphette shining through the matter-of-fact young whore. My brief acquaintance with her started a train of thought that may seem pretty obvious to the reader who knows the ropes. An advertisement in a lewd magazine landed me one brave day in the office of Mademoiselle Edith, who began by offering me to choose a kindred soul from a collection of rather formal photographs in a rather soiled album. "Regardez-moi cette belle brune." When I pushed the album away and somehow managed to blurt out my criminal craving, she looked as if about to show me the door. However, after asking me what price I was prepared to disburse, she condescended to put me in touch with a person qui pourrait arranger la chose. Next day, an asthmatic woman, coarsely painted, garrulous, garlicky, with an almost farcical Provençal accent and a black moustache above a purple lip, took me to what was apparently her own domicile, and there, after explosively kissing the bunched tips of her fat fingers to signify the delectable rosebud quality of her merchandise, she theatrically drew aside a curtain to reveal what I judged was that part of the room where a large and unfastidious family usually slept. It was now empty, save for a monstrously plump, sallow, repulsive plain girl of at least 15 with red-ribboned, thick black braids, who sat on a chair perfunctorily nursing a bald doll. When I shook my head and tried to shuffle out of the trap, the woman, talking fast, began removing the dingy woolen jersey from the young giantess's torso. Then, seeing my determination to leave, she demanded son argent. A door at the end of the room was opened, and 2 men who had been dining in the kitchen joined in the squabble. They were misshapen, bare-necked, very swarthy, and one of them wore dark glasses. A small boy and a begrimed, bow-legged toddler lurked behind them. With the insolent logic of a nightmare, the enraged procuress, indicating the man in glasses, said he had served in the police, lui, so that I had better do as I was told. I went up to Marie, for that was her stellar name, who by then had quietly transferred her heavy haunches to a stool at the kitchen table and resumed her interrupted soup, while the toddler picked up the doll. With a surge of pity dramatizing my idiotic gesture, I thrust a banknote into her indifferent hand. She surrendered my gift to the ex-detective, whereupon I was suffered to leave.